Hi, everyone. This is Matt Phelan, Michigan Public Policy Manager for the Alzheimer Association here in Michigan. And we're just giving a quick legislative update. We're 2 weeks after our Advocacy Day, and we've had some significant things happen. But to talk about our Advocacy Day, we want to thank everybody that came and let you know we had over 60 people attend this year and participate in meetings. We completed 21 Senate meetings this year, 13 of those with the actual senator. We completed 29 House meetings this year. 18 of those were with the state rep. All the other ones were with staff, but all of them turned out to be extremely productive. We were able to meet with a lot of the members of the Department of Health and Human Services, appropriations committees, a lot of people that were in the House policy committees. So it was an extremely successful event, and we thank everybody that took part in that. Some of the other things that came out of that were really important for us is we got a lot of good feedback on strong bipartisan support for our issues, including a lot more Republican support this year, which was great to see. We had a lot of legislators follow up and talk to other lawmakers about this, including Senator Dan Lowers, who went the next day and talked to the Senate Appropriations Chair about this and asked why did the Senate take out our money. Which those are the types of conversations that happen when we have advocates come to Lansing and talk to them. So those were some great things. We found out a couple of state reps, they have parents that had dementia. That's good information to have. And a lot asked for some follow-up that we've been doing with different stats and information. So overall, Advocacy Day was a huge success. We got a lot of momentum out of it, as we talked about when we were there the day of. The week before we went, the Senate had pulled our money out, and that morning the House had put it back in. And so Colin's going to give us a little bit more in depth of a legislative update of that and what has happened since. So Colin, go ahead.
Thanks, Matt. I just want to echo all your points about how great Advocacy Day this was, or Advocacy Day was this year. It was great to be back in person. It was my first time back in person with all of the advocates. I think we tried to do our best over Zoom last year, but when I was sitting in the rotunda watching the program and listening to Senator Hertel and then listening to Nanya, listening to Bertha and Melissa, you really can't recreate that over the computer. So it was great to be back in person. I think that definitely it energizes a lot of us that work for the Alzheimer's Association, but I think it also definitely translates into energy that the legislators feel as well. And with that in mind, I think, we heard last week that the House had put the money back in. We also finally were able to ascertain that it had been included in the governor's budget. It was just buried very, very deeply. And that the Senate had originally taken it out. Now, that was at the committee level. However, we have been informed that the money has been restored when the bill was discussed on the floor. So, unlike previous years where it always seemed like we were fighting to try to get a toehold, we actually have the best scenario possible, which is that the governor recommended something, the House has included it, and now the Senate has included it. So we're working from a position of strength to move forward and finalize inclusion of funding in the budget with specific intent language to form the Dementia Unit with the purview of implementing the state's dementia plan. So that gives us a much better opportunity to put pressure on the administration to actually implement this moving forward and hire somebody and start acting in the way that we had envisioned this position really looking. So I think that's great news. I don't think that happens without all of the work that everybody's done on this issue. I don't think it happens without the influx of volunteers that we had come to Lansing. As Matt said, we had a lot of folks there, but I think that that number is magnified just because post-COVID, a lot of people haven't come back to Lansing. And so we stood out for the fact that we are back. We're back in large numbers, and that certainly made an impact in the minds of the lawmakers. And I think we're seeing that with the progress that was made in the Senate. So we're very optimistic heading forward. But I'm going to kick it back to Matt just to give you some additional thoughts about actions that you can take to really help seal the deal and put us over the top once and for all.
Thanks, Colin. And yeah, to Colin's point about the context, there are other organizations that come to Lansing every year, and many of them are still virtual, not coming. Some organizations are coming back in much smaller numbers. Tomorrow we'll be in Lansing for Older Michiganians Day. They usually bring thousands. They're going to have about 100 people there tomorrow. So, for us, we had a really good sized group, a really good showing at Advocacy Day. And like Colin said, we really stand out, not just because we wear purple sashes, but because we were there in person with a large number of folks having a lot of meetings. So thank you again for that. And for everybody that didn't come, those that took action that day, we had an action alert go out, the people that took action before talking to their legislators, all of this adds up. We are successful because we have dozens and dozens of people taking little actions all over the state. And when you add it all up, it makes a big difference. And so with that in mind, we're asking people to hold on here and take a couple more actions. Colin said we're in a good place, but that means that we still don't want to be silent. We want to make sure that we're still contacting those legislators for the next couple of weeks, letting them know that, thank you for meeting with you in Lansing if you came. If you didn't, thank you for their support and continued support to see this through as the budget moves through. We need to be emailing or making a phone call. We still have a couple more weeks of our 10-week campaign that we're doing. So please take action today, and please take action next week by making a call or shooting an email to our senators and state representatives to let them know that, we appreciate everything they're doing to make sure the Dementia Unit ends up in the final budget, but asking them to continue to be an advocate for us there to make sure it stays in there, and we finally operationalize this Dementia Unit and get to where we want to be. So please continue to take action. It's not over until the governor signs that budget. We think that will be at some point in June, but it could push into July. We just never know. So hang in there with us, take some more actions. We're going to see this through to the end. We've come a long way in 3 years working on this to get to this point, and we feel like we're that close, but we just don't want to go silent at the end. We need to make sure we're just still contacting those legislators and thanking them and making sure that they continue to talk about this issue. And that's the important thing. We just need to keep talking about this issue. It's badly needed. We need the infrastructure in Michigan. So, hang with us a little longer, and hopefully we can see a Dementia Unit here in Michigan operationalized in the next year and starting to do the critical work that we need in this state. So that's our update for today. We will provide more as we go along here if things change or as we get closer to the end. But thank you to everyone for everything you've done up to this point, and we're going to keep working on it, and hopefully in a month or so we'll be talking about a full-fledged moving forward with a Dementia Unit. Thanks again.